Hi, I'm Denise, and welcome again to our YouTube channel, Soaring Together. Today we want to take you on the last part of our adventure in Colorado. Actually, one thing I wanted to let you know is the RV park where we were staying, we found out the third week we were there, we were pronouncing it incorrect. We were pronouncing it Vallecito. We found out the L's in the word are silent, and it is actually pronounced Vallecito.
Give me your strength and show me your weakness. We're in this together now. We're in this together.
We told you last week that we had toured Mesa Verde National Park. So today I want to show you a little of the video. There is a very large mountain that we had to go over once we got into the park, and we were actually in the truck that day, and I was kind of glad we weren't on the bikes because it was a pretty steep road with lots of curves and no guardrails around most of the trip up and over the mountain. So we did ride down through part of the park. They did have one section of the park closed because of the virus, which is the part of the park where they do the ranger guided tours. So we weren't able to do that tour, but we did drive down to where we could see where the Pueblo Indians built their homes. This was something like over 700 years ago. these people built their homes down in the canyons to get away from their enemies. And I did read that 50% of their babies died after birth. And also the people did not live to be much over 50 or 60 years old. And then also it's believed that a lot of them starved to death because there were lightning strikes down into the canyon that burned up their crops and the food that they survived on. One afternoon, a couple that we met that were a few sites down from us took us out in their pontoon boat, and we took a ride around the Vicito Lake that's at the Vicito Dam Reservoir. Our last motorcycle ride while we were there in Colorado was up to South Fork. And on the way to South Fork, we did go through the Wolf Creek Pass. And like many other passes there in Colorado, you wind around the mountains and you're driving just on the edge of the mountains. So lots of curves and lots of places where there are no guardrails. So it does get a little scary at times, but we enjoyed the ride.
very thankful to be on this journey with her. I never, ever thought we would be doing this. I don't know what I thought we'd be doing, but it was not this. But I'm so thankful, and we are blessed beyond measure, and I thank the Lord, and I certainly love my wife. And
there's a car coming.
While we were there, we did meet some very nice people, and probably some people that we will keep in touch with the rest of our life. And so the last night we were there, we played cornhole with Mike and Edie, and we had a wonderful time. And in fact, we played 3 games and they beat us 2-1. So Mike and Edie, next time we see you, we are going to be up on our game.
21, baby. There it is. That's game.
We did cut our stay there in Colorado a week short. We had planned to stay a month there at Vicedo Resort. There were, as many of you may have seen in the news, there are California fires, and there are also some large Colorado fires. One of the fires burning up in the northern part of Colorado is, they reported, as possibly the second largest fire that Colorado has ever seen as a wildfire. But there was a small one burning about 25 miles from us, and they did make the fire ban where you couldn't have a campfire in the camp resorts. But just thinking about what Tennessee went through a couple years ago in Gatlinburg, and it takes Ricky and I about 3 hours to break camp, to get everything loaded, our bikes loaded, and get everything set to ride. So my fear was getting notified in the middle of the night that we had to leave. And so with that in mind, there were a couple days that I was very worried, and caused my blood pressure to go up very high. And of course we were in the higher elevation too, which wasn't helping. But I won't tell you how high it was, but my blood pressure was very high, and it scared Ricky. So anyway, he calmed me down, and so we decided to go ahead and leave a week early. And then after we left, one of our friends told us that they did lift the fire ban. So I think everything is getting back to normal in Colorado, and the firefighters have done a really good job in putting out a lot of the fires. So right now we are back in Albuquerque, and possibly be here for about a month visiting David and Kelly.
Give me your strength and show me your weakness. We're in this together now. We're in this together now.